Howdy folks, I thought I'd do a video on just kind of answering the question, should you buy a cap and ball revolver? This I just got a couple weeks ago. It's a Pieta 1851 Navy, which was the recommended, 36 caliber. This was recommended by all the YouTubers for your first one. I have to say I love it so far. I've shot about 27 rounds with it, I believe. And I've only had one cap jam and all of that, which I don't think is too bad. I do leather working, so partly what makes me want to buy stuff is I get to make gun belts, and this is a paper cartridge pouch, and made this box for paper cartridges, and I got the paper cartridge kit from Guns of the West to make the paper cartridges, and then I made my own bullet loop to dip them in, and all of that to me is adding to the fun of the hobby. Not that hard to take apart. You just got to pound that wedge out. I use a brass punch with a poly hammer, a Wheeler gunsmithing punch set, and a lot of fun. The downside is you're going to spend almost as much on being able to shoot it as you do on the gun. The gun was a little over 300 bucks. If I hadn't already had percussion caps, the only way you can find them is online. The only way to make that worthwhile is to buy 1,000, and that's going to run you 150 to 200 bucks. If you want to get the correct powder, which is 3FG, I've checked every place around in my local area. All we have is 2F here in Wisconsin for the most part. It's all for rifles. Well, I've shot it with 2F 777. It works just fine. I don't know if it makes that big of a difference, but 3FG is recommended. I will probably get some real black powder in 3FG from Midway, but there again, the only way to make it worthwhile is to buy 3 or 4 pounds. You're going to spend over 100 bucks. So you're going to spend almost as much to shoot it as you do to buy the gun. The lead balls, you can get them several places online. Relatively inexpensive, and you don't have to pay a hazmat on the lead. But I'll put some video clips here of shooting it, a little bit of cleaning it, and you can kind of make up your own mind based on that. But it's kind of my take, is they're a lot of fun, but they're a lot of work to clean them. You got 6 nipples instead of 1 like on a muzzle loader, but they're fun to work the action, they're fun to shoot. They're just a really fun gun, but a lot of upkeep and really hard to find ammunition right now. You can't just go to the store and buy powder, ball, and percussion caps, at least none of the stores near me. Sorry about that. But so that's kind of my take, and like I said, I'll do those other clips to just kind of show you the basics and go from there. Thanks for watching. That would be my first cap jam. Here we go. Three in a row. It does shoot high. I'm aiming just a little bit underneath them. Got 4 in a row. I'll just shoot at the board now. Just gonna show a quick disassembly and stuff on my new Pieta 1851 Navy Colt. And knock the wedge out. Be on half cock. Barrel comes right out. Cylinder comes right off. Just used a brass punch and poly hammer that came with this Wheeler Engineering brass punch set. There's the box. Just got it off of Amazon. Highly recommend Wheeler gunsmithing stuff. From what I've used of them, they seem to work pretty good. It's a Track of the Wolf nipple wrench, made for 36 or 44 caliber. Just gonna make sure all my nipples are loose here. Just take all of them out. Take all 6 out, and then I use just the CVA stuff for solvent. Squirt some of that down the barrel. Squirt it on the back of the frame. The hammer, get down in there a little bit. I'm going to rinse out the crud out of the inside. So I'm not going to take the whole thing apart. We'll spray down the cylinder, front and back. Let's get that good and wet. And we'll take off the rest of the nipples and we'll continue cleaning it from there. Got all the nipples out. So I'm going to take a brush and go in each chamber. Break everything loose that I can. And get some leftover paper on there. Next, we'll take a toothbrush. Just loosen up the back of the frame. Scrub up everything we can get to here. Get your arbor nice and clean. That up, scrub up the top of the chambers, and then we'll continue from there. So I ran patches in all the chambers, and then take a Q-tip and get out everything where the nipples were. You can get in there pretty good after you loosen it up with the toothbrush. And then I just take these and go in from the other end, make sure I got everything. And then I'll be spraying G96 on it all and wiping off the excess of that. Alright, I got the chambers all cleaned out. You can kind of see them. I got nipples put back in 5 of the chambers. Before I put them in, I got them all wiped off, and then I soak every part of this with G96 gun treatment, and then to keep them from sticking, I use this anti-seize stick. Just want to get some of that on there. Get them started back in. And you don't want to wrench down on these. Just snug it up. It shouldn't take very much pressure to break it loose again. It should just be, keep your fingers loose, just like that. So you see that little bit of a tug? That's all it should take. So I've had, if you wrench them down, even if you put this on, you can get them things so stuck that you cannot get them loose again. So now, what I do is I take this silicone grease and I just lube up the grooves in the arbor here. Just helps keeping it from getting all gummy and sticky. And this was all soaked in G96 and wiped off the excess before. And put your cylinder back on. Oh, gotta get the half cock first. Cylinder goes back on. Barrel assembly goes back. And your wedge back in. A couple light taps, make sure it's good and snug. And just wipe the whole thing down again. And I, of course, cleaned out the barrel and inside of the cylinder where the arbor would go and everything. So that's a condensed version of cleaning one of these things. Pretty smooth. So anyway, you can definitely spend as much money as you want to shoot these things. They're crazy accurate, as you saw in that little clip. Like I said, I'd only shot this gun total 27 times, and it wasn't even 27 when I hit 4 of those pigeons in a row at about 10 yards. I know that's pretty close, but pistols, you got to be close. I can actually fire this more accurate than I can my Heritage Rough Riders, which is kind of surprising, being the sight is part of the hammer. Really fun gun to shoot. Little sharp edges on everything. It could use some polishing up, but I don't know if I'm going to worry about that. You got to clean them, get all the oil off when they ship, so kind of a lot of work, but I enjoy that kind of stuff. So if you enjoy tinkering with stuff, mildly tinkering anyway, it might be the gun for you. A lot of fun, but yeah, by the time you get a powder flash, your nipple wrench, powder measure, you got to have all your powder, shot, percussion caps. It gets awful expensive awful quick, and some of the stuff's kind of hard to find, some of it isn't. But yeah, if you think it looks like fun and you can save the money to do it, if you can save, it's going to take up front probably a minimum of $400 and probably like $500 to $600, but then you'll be set for a really long time. If you order 1,000 primers and 2 or 3 pounds of powder, it's going to last you for probably a decade. So it's kind of up to you, but like I said, leather working, I'm having fun with that. I'm having fun making the cartridges and the cartridge boxes, trying to make things kind of historically accurate that way. And all of the other videos recommended getting a steel framed revolver and not the brass framed ones, so that's what I did. Brass framed ones are a little cheaper, but all in all, if you are interested in them, I'd recommend trying it out. But like I said, you got to decide if it's worth it. I mean, if you just want a revolver, a Heritage Rough Rider is easier to clean and shoot, and it's cheaper up front. The ammunition's cheaper, the ammunition's easier to find. You can just go buy it at a local gun shop or hardware store or Walmart. So just all things to consider, but yeah, so far I'm loving it and I do not regret buying it. Thanks for watching.